Favorite three letters. Come on, Phil. You know it.
O-G-B.
OGB, baby.
OGB.
And
OGB.
Phil, let's help people out. What does OGB stand for?
It stands for Old Growth Beverages. It is
Jeez, it gives me a tingle. What the heck? What is old growth beverages, Phil?
Why, I'm so glad you asked, Kenny. It's
That's what
a
I'm here
micro
for.
ground tea. So it's a tea where we take all the tea leaves, we grind them up into fine powder, and it basically takes your process from getting from thirsty, unfulfilled, and wanting a hot, refreshing tea. And it takes that process and it converts you into a happy tea drinker in about 30 seconds. All you need is hot water, a spoonful of microground tea of your choice from OGB, and then if you want to top it up with something, and then all you got to do is sit back, cool it down a little, and enjoy.
Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Benucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
Hello.
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 Good morning.
How are you?
Good. It's 9 a.m. here.
Okay.
Awake, ready to go. A tad
Awesome.
nervous. This is our
Oh,
first
yeah.
podcast.
Oh my God. You don't have to be nervous
no,
with
please.
us. No, seriously.
No. This is about as formal as it gets, really.
This is as formal as it gets.
Amazing. I'm just happy
Yeah.
I can see your faces. Anytime I'm talking like radio interviews or just on the phone,
That's
No.
weird.
I can't see who I'm talking to. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a friendly face.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about friendly face. We
Yeah.
are friendly, but I don't know if our
I don't know what our faces are friendly, but yeah, we're
That's why we
definitely
do
relatively
podcasts,
friendly.
right? We do very limited video
we have
stuff.
faces for radio.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They're still friendly faces, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not terrified, so we're good.
Oh no,
No.
please don't be. No.
And honestly, don't be nervous on this. This is easy peasy.
Yeah.
This is really, I mean, it's an hour for you two to really tell us and the audience what you do, why you do it, yada yada yada.
And we kind of we look
No
at these coffee conversations, because we've actually been through episodes where they get super nervous and then we start talking and then we just talk, and then halfway through someone will go, wait, so when are we recording? We're like, we've been recording for half an hour now. It's all good, right? Everything's good in here. You didn't say anything that is confidential and we're all good, so this is what we're rolling with, right?
That's the only thing we just tell people.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't normally say
no
it
trade secrets
publicly, then don't say it.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't want to be breaking news for anybody.
No,
so,
and I don't want you. We don't want anybody in trouble because you said something you shouldn't say. Because we don't typically edit either. I mean, it gets recorded and away we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should. Do you want to do an intro?
It's up to you. So the reason you're on is because our buddy Craig Dolan, who works with Farming Karma, suggested
who we love
that
a lot.
I love that company. Yeah. And I like Craig. I'm not gonna say I love Craig. I like Craig. He's okay. But it's a good crew, right? And it's a neat product, and I love the fact that it's in our province. I like that. I like the fact that it's here. But Craig suggested you guys come on. To be frank with you, I have really no idea what you guys do. Okay. I know it's a worldwide organization. I know there's a couple campuses in BC. It sounds like you guys are in the Okanagan campus. And you provide help for, I guess, startups or people looking to do cool, innovative things within categories. So I told Phil, I said, McKenna and Mandy are coming on. No idea what they're going to talk about because I have no idea what they do.
Perfect. Well, that makes it more fun for us because we can surprise you then.
Or you can just tell us whatever you want and we won't know anyway.
We won't know. It's
so
awesome.
You can make up a whole new story and go wherever you want. Pick, the job you really wanted all your life? This is your time to tell us that's what it is. Nobody will know.
Used fake names. We could
have. I'm editing my name right now.
We don't know if it's you. You could have sent a couple students on. We have no clue.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Well, I mean, so I have not personally met Craig, but it was a connection through Peter, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows Peter, your independent grocer. He's been a huge help, huge partner for us.
Yep.
and has been fantastic along our journey. And I actually had the privilege of phoning Farming Karma, and they have been helping us as well. So I told them we were going on your podcast. I'm like, I listened to yours as inspiration. I've been buying their products since they first released them too. They made it to our
awesome.
Pear's my favorite. But yeah, Enactus. So I am currently the president of Enactus Okanagan College, and Mandy is the current project manager of Unusually Good Food Company, which is what we're going to be discussing more with you today. But yeah, Enactus is a student-led nonprofit, and we implement social, environmental, and economic projects within our communities. And it is a worldwide organization. So there's over 2,500 teams that span across, I believe, 34 different countries. So basically, post-secondary institutions will adopt a chapter of this, and we have faculty advisors, and students will create whatever projects they want to run to benefit the community. And then we compete in regional, national, and as national champions this year, international competitions where we get to kind of showcase our innovations, and it also inspires the continuum.
And you guys are national champions in 2022, right? Yeah. So we went, whoa, cool, but we didn't know we didn't know what you were winning. It just looked really cool.
It looked cool. I mean, you won. That's good. I was happy for you guys. You won. Yay!
Did you win a countrywide award, or am I jumping? Am I spoiling things?
No, you're not spoiling. That's been the really exciting for us. We've been working towards this for a while, so it's a great story to start with. But obviously for Canada, every team, their goal, make an impact and win nationals. And so we were actually the first team from Western Canada to win nationals this last year with Unusually Good Food Company. And that's why we went on to present at the Enactus World Cup. So within Canada, I believe there's about 70 different Enactus teams. So we are competing against those teams to go to the World Cup.
So before you go too far, so who started Enactus? Is this via like United Nations, or is this a private group? Like whose brainchild is this one?
Well, so the backstory, I'm going to tell you as much as I know, and hopefully it is as accurate as I believe it is to be. But it has been through different chapters, starting off as ACE and then going into SIFE and then being adapted to Enactus. So we've gone through some different names over the last few years. But in Canada specifically, I believe it was Ian Atkin who came in and started basically a business competition for social good and social purpose. And then over the years, it's adapted. And then Enactus, I believe, was starting maybe in the UK. I'm not entirely sure. And then we kind of joined forces and then joined the worldwide competition.
Awesome.
And that's how it kind of came to be.
Okay. The rest is yours. Sorry, I'm just curious.
It's a good question, though. I should probably know the answer.
And Enactus actually stands for Entrepreneurship Action Among Students, to kind of break down the unique word of it.
Not a lot of people know it actually stands for something.
We kind of assumed it would, but
stand for something. I'm not sure what the hell it stood for. But
so Enactus is just fine.
It's a weird word, I will say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And this is cool. So the World Cup, because I get distracted, but the World Cup is in Utrecht. Utrecht. Yeah, so Netherlands.
So hopefully.
So are you guys going to the Netherlands?
Well, if we back-to-back wins, nationals will be held again this May. We got to travel to Puerto Rico in October for the World Cup. So we were there late October.
Okay. Fantastic.
Okay. Got it.
That's good.
Awesome.
Right at the tail end of hurricane season. Perfect.
Yes. I think the hurricane was there a week before we were.
Yeah.
So we were
that's usually the last week. Yeah.
I think the faculty were like, what are we bringing our students into?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. So we've derailed.
So we derailed your whole conversation. So go back wherever you want to go. We're just curious.
That's okay. So going to these competitions, it was with our project Unusually Good Food Company.
Right.
So that is what we were hoping to kind of discuss today, because it is a social enterprise that will be expanding nationally. So we have some fun stories we can tell. I think maybe some background just on Mandy and I to start.
Perfect.
Students. I'm going to be 22 in a few weeks. I'm in my last semester of my undergraduate degree at Okanagan College in business marketing. I'll be graduating in 2 months, which is super exciting, super terrifying. And I started with Enactus in my second year and went through different positions as project manager, VP to president this year. And Mandy, why don't you introduce yourself? And
hang on one second. So what do you intend to do after you graduate?
Oh no, the question.
You're not sure.
We have kids your age. That's why this is
but
a
not
question
sure
we'd
is
ask.
totally okay.
And again, there's no rush in life. You're 22. You got a ton of time. Relax.
Yes. Well, as an A-type person, that has been something that I have been struggling to kind of, comprehend the fact that I don't have a guaranteed plan for the next bit. There's been multiple opportunities coming my way, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I'm passionate about and what I want to be doing this next year. So we will figure it out eventually, and I am now okay with knowing that
just breathe. We're in our 50s and we still don't know what we want to do.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
But also, like this Commerce Life audience, like now you need to stop and write down names, right? Because we got McKenna and Mandy.
Right.
Like they just freaking won a Canadian championship. They're going to tell us about this wicked company they built. If you need marketing help or business marketing help,
or just
you guys are laughing, but I'm serious. Like,
absolutely.
Their LinkedIn is going to be in the podcast notes, so freaking reach out and make sure.
And Phil and I are only going to take a small percentage of the finder's fee, so it's all good.
No, but seriously, they're McKenna's LinkedIn will be, and then Mandy's going to tell us about her, and then we'll put both of their LinkedIn. 100%. If you want talented people, right? Like this is how we find
how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, I can say the Enactus students are definitely the students to hire. We've seen so many across the country. We have over 60 members within our organization, and they are all incredible individuals. So
look at that. She had a chance to plug herself, and she plugged the organization. So if you're listening, she's smart and she's generous. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
I'll shut up now.
Okay, Mandy.
Yes, I'm Mandy. I'm currently in my second year of business administration with an accounting specialty. Just finishing up on my second year. I am a mom of 4 and decided to go back to school in COVID. So the online learning was a bit of a blessing in disguise for me, as my youngest wasn't in school yet. So he was sitting beside me, listening to my accounting classes, and ended up singing about debits and credits in accounting.
That's sad on a lot of levels though, right? Like you realize
that's amazing.
Our wives are both CPAs.
Our wives are both accountants.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. But the kids singing accounting songs is really sad. That's really...
Oh, but he was making up the accounting songs, so it was...
Oh, that's okay. That's creative then. That's okay.
That's amazing.
There's hope for him.
Ahead of the game.
Yeah.
There's hope for him. That's good.
He's also been out apple picking, and
that's
all
awesome.
the kids have been out apple picking with the Unusually Good Project.
And you found time with 4 kids to go back to school.
Bless your heart.
And volunteer an insane amount of hours and compete on the national and world.
My Lord. Like, seriously?
Her LinkedIn. It's in the podcast notes. I'm just saying.
She's our very own Wonder Woman.
No joke. Wow. All right. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, Mandy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, that's all.
That's all. So how much long? Is it a 4-year program, you guys? It's a 4-year. It's like a normal, like our normal. When I was 5, because I'm way older. It was 5 when we were going. So it's a 4-year program to get your degree in business admin or whatever they're going to call it today. Okay.
And then, Mandy, do you know what you want to do?
I'm intending to do CPA after as well.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Got it. Good for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of opportunity in that side.
Yeah. You should come see us after. You may hate us by then, but we could use the help. Both of our wives would tell you that.
Our wives aren't going to touch what we do. No, they've already given up on us many years ago. So we need help.
Love that. Yeah, accounting was definitely not for me. I went the marketing.
Yeah, I know. We did marketing as well.
Yeah. You need real discipline to do.
Yeah,
I'm just speaking on my behalf.
I get it. I was way too many rules, way too structured, 2 columns, double lining. Like it was
No, and
just.
there's implications for breaking rules. Like
Oh my
everywhere
God!
else
Yeah,
you
and
break
all the
rules is just
rules. Oh
fine,
my
right? But in
Lord!
accounting, you can't break rules. Like that
You're
gets
out
you in
10
jail.
cents.
Like
Move on.
it's
I'll give you
bad.
10
Like,
cents. Just put it in a column. Let's
oh, the
go, man.
worst thing to say to an
Holy.
accountant, like my
Just
wife, I'll
close
just say,
enough.
listen, it's a rounding error. It's fine.
Close
Right.
enough.
And like,
See the twitch.
The eyes going.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
goodness.
Okay. Let's
Okay, get serious.
let's get serious. No,
Okay.
but so tell us about Unusually Good and kind of, or
Or
wherever
how
you want
this?
to pick
What
up
did
from.
this start? How did what? So
Fine.
we got to get back to school. So how did you guys? What's this about? Like, how did we start here, or why did we start here?
So for Unusually Good, that was actually started by an Enactus student who was driving home from school one day, going to Vernon, which is just a little bit outside of Kelowna. And she, with the entrepreneurial mindset she had, stopped and saw all of these apples just on the ground of the orchard.
Sad.
And the farmers were in the fields, and she's like, why are these apples on the ground? Like, what are they doing with them? And so she pulled over and actually just went over and started talking to a farmer and was like, what are you doing with these apples? Like, why are they here? And he told her that these are apples that were not fit for grocery store appearance standards. So they were either too small in size, they may have had too many bruises, or they're
Odd
just
shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so basically farmers have to pay to remove those apples. And a lot of them, they can't afford to. It is a huge cost. And so those apples, they just go to waste. They drop from the trees to the ground and they just rot in the fields. And so she was like, okay, this is a problem. Like we can fix this. There has to be something we can do. And so food insecurity has obviously been a huge issue in Canada, and it's something that continues to, become an even bigger issue. And what we decided to do is actually repurpose these apples that are perfectly fit for consumption and turn them into apple chips. So in partnership with the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners, which is an amazing food processing organization, we were able to dehydrate these chips and donate them to local schools, food banks, and even to developing countries.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that's how this all started.
Oh,
okay. Wow. So it really started as
well, instead of wasting food,
let's remove the waste and then try and do some good with it. And then, so how does that shape itself into, because you guys are now, I was looking at it, but are you guys selling product now, right? Like, because you've gone from kind of like the chips to a bunch of other things.
Yes. Well, like any business, we needed to be able to fund it. So we ended up making apple juice out of these apples as well. So all of the profits that are from our apple juice go back into the project to pay farmers for these apples that would go to waste and expand our apple chip production and distribution capabilities. So Mandy, do you want to speak a little bit on the journey with the juice?
Yeah. So just in the first year in apple chips alone, we produced about 10,000 servings of apple chips. And then in our pilot year for the juice, we did a pilot run of 2,000 liters and generated $5,000 in revenue. After that, we rebranded our project into the Unusually Good project, the Unusually Good Food Company, and produced 890 boxes of 5-liter boxes of juice and sold out that inventory as well. So this year, we're expanding through Loblaws to increase that even more, to be able to produce more apple chips across Canada.
Yeah, we basically, Peter, I mean, everyone knows Peter. He's amazing.
Phil's from the other side. So Pete owns.
I've heard his name enough though.
Pete's been in the industry for a trillion years, right? He was actually down here. He's now in the Okanagan, and he owns Pizza Yig. Your independent grocer in Kelowna. Yeah. But if you're going to have anybody in the Okanagan who wants to try anything cool, has a cool product, is local, is enthusiastic, you go to Pete. Because you're probably going to get listed. He'll try you at least, or he'll give you advice. You can't do this, you can't do that. Watch your price here. Like he's that kind of guy, old school.
Definitely. And he was the first store we got into. So he
not
was
surprised.
For our expansion. And It was great because he had an article that was published throughout what we thought was just going to be internally with Loblaws, and it ended up going external as well. So it was, you know, broadcasted across Canada on their website, across their social medias, and we just woke up one morning and saw it on the website, and we're like,
How cool is
"Oh
that?
my gosh, that's us!" We're like,
How cool is that?
Yeah.
like that's Canada's largest like
Yeah.
retailer.
Yeah.
And we had a category director reach out to us just shortly after, who has been absolutely incredible. He wanted to bring our product in. He wanted, let's start off Western Canada, you know, we can talk national expansion, we'll see where it goes.
Right.
And he has been working with 2 students to bring this product into
Wow.
big locations. So we're still
Fantastic.
determining how many stores. We've learned so much, even the acronyms on like how you get into retail space.
Oh my God.
Yeah, trust me, we know. Yeah,
It's like a whole book of them, and we
Go
change
for it.
them all the time. We screw around with the acronyms, right? Just when you
Just for
think you've
fun.
learned them, go, oh no, that's not a thing anymore. We changed it. And you're like, I just got here. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the information, like the questions he's asking us too. We are very lucky at Okanagan College. We have 9 faculty advisors. So they have industry expert. They work with us. They are our mentors, and we would not be able to really do what we are doing without their support. But it's funny because they'll like make comments on things that we're doing or be talking to us, and then they'll use this terminology that's totally for retail or supplying or whatever. And I'm like, it's going to Google. I'm like, what does this mean? Like, let's make sure they still think I'm smart. But yeah, so we have been working towards that. We've been, you know, contacting distributors. We're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get this product from Kelowna to XYZ and all of these little pieces, watching our margins, because the main purpose of this is to be able to expand our
Well, you want to fund this thing, right? It needs to at least have some funding capability on your own. I'm assuming that's the gig.
And it's all run by volunteers too. So we have our Enactus volunteers, we have community members that come out and help us pick apples, we have our community partners. But that's something that everyone loves, is our mission. And that's our main like mission right now, is we want to be able to donate 1 million apple chips. And that's something that, of course, partnering with Loblaws will enable us to do. We might be potentially going with PC Charity for Kids, still waiting for sure on that, but our goal would be to partner with them in the schools that they impact as well. And don't worry, I did ask what I was allowed to talk about before going on the podcast. That was an email just in case, but
As long as it's down somewhere. With no confidential splashed on it, we're good to go.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, am I allowed to talk about this? I'm like, well, we'll just ask just in case.
Yeah. No, that's good.
But yeah,
no, it's good. It's a good cause, and it's good that you've got retail people who are going to be able to help you out, because you do need one side to fuel the other side. Can't give anything away if you're not bringing anything in. It becomes tough, right? Or you have to go to funding, and you know, it just gets complicated.
So you have apple chips you're donating, and then but you also sell, or you sold apple cider and cherry juice as well, and there's a candle, right? And then so where do, like, are you like, do the proceeds go towards kind of running the org, or do you actually log profits? Or there's no, like, I'm not judging, I'm actually just curious as to like what
how does it sustain itself? Like,
yeah.
I'll let the accountant answer that one.
Perfect.
She's like, I have 4 kids. So the more cherry juice we sell, the better, because I have 3 and Kenny has 2. So we totally feel you.
Oh, yes. So all the profits do go back into the project. We're able to calculate how many pounds of fresh apples it takes to produce the dehydrated apples and the servings that we want to produce. So the profits that we need to generate the ideal amount of servings we need, we're able to base. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked in all my numbers. We're able to generate the amount of profits we need to produce the apple chips we want to serve.
Okay.
The apple candles is actually made from the apple juice byproduct. So when you're juicing apples, it creates a pumice, which is basically the pulp, the seeds, the stems, kind of everything left over that doesn't get into the juice. And normally that gets either composted. It's a lot of pumice, so it it can go to waste. It can rot before it can properly compost.
Okay, cool.
So our team has created a candle with the pomace through our partnership with the Kelowna manufacturer, the Kelowna Candle Manufacturing Company. And we're able to sell that as well to generate extra profit into our social enterprise.
You know what I like most about Matt LeBeau?
What do you like most?
I like Matt. Matt to me is sort of truly like a Canadiana. You know, like if you're thinking of ever finding somebody that truly understood the country, the dynamics of, like stay within our industry, with the dynamics of our industry, how to deal with picky retailers, picky vendors, picky suppliers, how to manage people in a calm, cool, collected manner. Someone who can truly get behind you and your brand, someone who knows how to speak to retailers, just been around a long time, really, really gets the game. I mean, I was really lucky. I got to work with Matt on numerous brands in the old days. For him, it would probably been pretty new because we were just getting into a lot of the non-conventional type product. And for me, you know, between him and a few of the people he worked with, like what a resource. Like what a resource. I mean, it was such a time for me to learn, and I just loved learning from Matt.
And I think if you're a brand and you're wondering, you know, what the heck Matt does, some of the things that he does, right? So he helps you figure out how to work with retailers, so that he's got a really strong retailer base. He works with all the major grocery chains out there, the natural food chains, the independent guys. So if you're a brand that needs to get connected to retailers, he's a guy that not only can do the connecting, but he'll actually give you an assessment of how strong your offering is and how likely it is that retailers are going to want you. So I think those are kind of two very valuable things.
Those are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
And I think the other one is he's got really good distributor relationships, right? So he's got, he works with UNFI, with Purity Life, with Indigo, with Pure Source, with Cisco,
with Horizon,
Horizon,
it's on and on and on,
like you
everybody.
name it, right? Like, so he's connected to all these folks. And so he, you know, when you work with Matt and his team at LeBeau, this is what you get, right? You get a really strong customer base. You get a team that's going to tell you how compelling your offering is. And then he also has really strong distributor relationships. I think the other really neat one that Kenny and I just discovered is Matt also has a food service team.
I never knew that.
You know, and that's interesting, right? So if you're thinking about restaurants or hotels or cafeterias, catering companies, food service distributors, Matt and his team at LeBeau have all of those things that they can bring you. So if you're interested, head to www.lebeauexcel, that's LEBEAUEXCEL.com, LeBeau Excel, and check out Matt and his team to see if they're the right folks for you.
That's fantastic. Cool. So Sprung really is a nonprofit to some degree, right? You're just taking money from one side.
Everything fuels
you don't,
the
at
other.
the end of the day, you don't care if it generates. You don't want to be red. You don't care if you're black. Neutral's fine, because the more you make, you just pump into the other side.
We always say we don't want to have a profit at the end of this. We want to be able to reinvest it back into the project.
That's unusually good.
Wow. It is.
So I've heard, apples I understand. So, and I heard cherries. You're running where, from all the way from Vernon down to Osoyoos? Like, I'm assuming apricots, peaches. Like, I mean, listen, we can drive the Okanagan. I mean,
Kenny's after line extensions already.
Well, so because you know why? Because I mean, the idea is fantastic, and if the product's going to other places, you know, an apple a day, you know, it's kind of nice that other people get to participate in relatively healthy products that we take for granted and just rot on the ground.
Oh, definitely. And we're looking into product expansion right now on different fruits that we can work with. The cherry juice, working with cherries was our next first fruit, I guess you could say. So that's something we're going to be working on next, is looking at, okay, like, let's dehydrate some apricots, some nectarines, some peaches, some pears. Which
they do work. I mean, it's all been done. I mean, it's been done, and they're all yummy, right? And what a great cause, right?
Exactly. So and even vegetables, like there's so
For
many
sure.
different roots that you can take.
Cauliflower, zucchini, all that stuff can be eggplant.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all,
yeah.
you know, yeah, the stuff's being done.
Eggplant.
Yeah, you can do
That's
eggplant
Really?
chips.
Eggplant.
Yeah. Eggplant
I don't
chips.
know, Kenny.
Eggplant juice or eggplant chips?
Eggplant chips. We have them in the store.
Oh, eggplant juice is really weird.
Eggplant
That's
juice,
what
I don't, that's
eggplant
kind of,
chips
no.
is
Eggplant chips are in the store.
really?
I carry them,
I
yes.
have to try those.
Interesting.
Snack, I think
I'm not sure if I
Snack
want to
Affair.
try those.
Snack Affair?
Okay.
I think they're called, I think Snack Affair is the brand.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mandy, have your kids try them first so then they can let us know how they are.
But the juice is like beet juice, beet chips, carrot juice, like all that stuff can be
Yeah.
and is being done. But I just think it's wonderful that for the amount of food we waste in a society that has too much food anyway, and other parts of the planet we know just don't have any food practically.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice that, you know, instead of wasting it, I mean, good for you.
I wanted to ask you about like the team, right? There's two of you here on the show. How many, you know, because
we went to the about page. I saw there's more people there.
Yeah,
is that all students?
It's just because, you know, you like we talk to brands a lot, right? And then sometimes they're like, you know, we talked to this wonderful lady yesterday. We had to reshoot her episode because I screwed up the audio on the first one, but she's like this one-man show that does everything, right?
Literally.
And then you get teams where they're like a dozen people, you know. So I'm so curious, like your students, you're working. Mandy's like, she's got 4 kids. She's got 18,000 things on the go. How many people on this? Like, what's an Actus team look like? Like, is there kind of a standard size? Or
I'll give you a part 2 to that. So, and how long does the team last? Because you're graduating. Does that mean you're out and sort of Mandy is now going to take over the role, and then there's another Mandy behind, and then that Mandy? Does it just keep?
Yes. So the size of an Actus teams, it will differ within post-secondary institutions. We're working with students, we're volunteers. Sometimes it is tough to kind of keep that retention going. That is something we struggle with as
it's a risk, right?
All the time. Okanagan College, we have been very lucky. Our team has 60 members. We do have a built-in like standard leadership organizational chart with different VPs, with project managers, and we build succession into all of our projects. So that is something we look for, is training. Good. Okay, so it's Karsten who was project manager before Mandy. So he was training Mandy before he left. So then Mandy was ready to take over the project.
So Mandy's going to train the next one. You're training somebody to take
her kid's going to take over. The one who sings. He's already got it. It's fine.
They're honorary Actus members.
It's done. Yeah.
They don't know it yet, but they're part of this. In 15 years, they're all in.
Yeah. They're all in already.
My daughter's already talking college and Enactus and competitions.
There you go.
But yeah, same with the presidency, as well as I'll be training successors in me to come in and take over the leadership position. And so that's something we build in, and we always have eager students. And it's actually, I get emotional talking about how amazing our students are, just because they are so passionate. Like there's a gazillion things on the go. We're full class loads. We're working on the slide. We're volunteering. And of course it looks great on a resume, but that's not their main purpose for doing it. Their main
and hopefully it's not the main purpose. There's a greater cause to this, right?
They're passionate about that cause. And you can see it in the time and the energy they put in. But what is so fantastic about Enactus is the experiential learning components to it. Like we are running a social enterprise. We're working with national partners.
You're running a business.
Yes. And so we wouldn't be having that experience if it wasn't for this. There's one thing to sit in a classroom and learn, but Okanagan College is big on applied learning. And through Enactus, I can definitely say it has enhanced my learning, and it makes like sitting in a classroom more fun too, because I actually like kind of understand the components that we're talking about and how they work in a real life setting. It
sets you up, Kate. I know because you're 22 and you're just going to worry about it because your age just does that, is that it's setting you up. You got skills that would take you to 27 to get once you hit the real world. And don't rush into the real world. School's a lot more fun.
No, school's a lot more fun. You stay there as long as you.
I mean, honestly, I'd go back. If it wasn't for the exams, like I don't like the exams. Yeah, I'd go back tomorrow. Seriously, to sit and talk to people all day and just and study a little bit. Like I just don't like the exam part. I'm not into that anymore.
I'm not either.
I think I should just be allowed to go to class and just learn at my own pace and just leave me alone.
Yeah, they're changing the curriculum a little bit. I think
Phil? See, they're doing that for people like me.
Uh-huh.
And me.
Uh-huh.
I'll pay the tuition. I just don't want to be bugged.
But no, it's great. And of course, Enactus Canada is our country organization. The president of Enactus Canada, Alison Hewitt, has been fantastic supporting us, the Enactus Canada team. So they always make sure their students are having the best experience. We have program managers from Enactus Canada that we kind of report back to and work with, and they mentor us. So it's a great organization. We've collaborated with other Enactus teams globally now after meeting them in Puerto Rico, which kind of put into perspective, like, oh my goodness, like this is a worldwide organization.
It's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
we're on the airplane.
Can we back it up for just a second? So I'll just go back to the sort of the competition and what. So you guys came up with this idea. You get it going, and then so how do you get into the Canadians, or the Canadian Championships, and what are other school like? What are you up against? Are you up against people designing rockets to go to Mars? Carbon neutral all the way kind of thing. Like what else are you up against?
Yeah, our competition structure, it's I actually drew a diagram out for all of our members. They could understand how it works because it kind of gets confusing. But we have regional competitions. So those are Western Canada, Atlantic Canada, and Central Canada.
So how many people in the West are you up against?
Oh, team-wise, I'm not exact. I don't know if I could put a number to that.
I guess almost every academic
all the universities, so like
one, right?
Cap University, UBC, SFU,
U of C, U of A, so a bunch of different universities. We're actually headed to Calgary in a couple of weeks for that competition.
Okay, cool.
And then there's two different competition streams for regionals. There's climate action and then entrepreneurship. And so we have two teams competing in both categories on topics. And then if they win regionals, those teams can go on as competitors in nationals to compete against the other national winning or regional winning teams. But then we can also take a separate team to nationals. So no matter what, you can go to nationals and present. And then the other teams are just kind of project category teams, you could say. And so realistically, we can go to nationals with 3 teams. So last year we actually got we won our regional competitions, and we got to bring every single team with us to compete. And nationals usually is held in May. It was postponed last year because Enactus Canada wanted to make sure we'd have a live competition experience. It's been so long, and there was just too many uncertainties in May for us to go to Toronto. So they postponed it to September. So all summer, some students they have a break during summer. We multitasked work, a break, and Enactus because we were ready to compete. We made it to the final 5 and then competed in September against amazing schools. And that's why, you never really know what these other schools are up to. There is that competitive atmosphere within Enactus, but we were up against Laurier University, University of Ottawa, St. Mary's University, and Toronto Metropolitan, formerly Ryerson University.
Right.
In the final round.
And what did they bring to the table? So I know what you guys did. So what were you up against in terms of?
So the runner-up was Ottawa, and they have Poly, which is basically a machine that turns plastic into different types of products and other materials. Laurier had a few different things going on. St. Mary's had Square Roots, which is also has to do with unwanted food products, but specifically from grocery stores. So there's a lot of neat projects happening. And that's why the Enactus mantra, I will tell you both, I am highly competitive. It is, I grew up playing.
Can't tell that.
No, not at all.
Not clear to us. I'm glad. Thank you for that. I appreciate it because now I see it.
Yeah, in a team setting too. I have to try to remain, calm because I'm like, okay, you're the president, lead by example, smile on your face no matter what happens. But Enactus, the one thing that I've really learned is the we all win mantra that we use. And as someone, like I said, who played sports, that is a difficult one to, really understand.
That's
but no
tough.
matter what, like these students, these projects, we're all doing good for the world. So it's true when we say we're all winners because every single project that's being run around the world is impacting our world and benefiting our world. So we are all winners. And I understand that now. Doesn't mean I don't like winning, but I do understand that.
You're still, I think you have to, the perspective is the right way. You're still winning in that. I'll tell you what, you're, even if you're not in first or winning, you're a mile ahead of a lot of your other competition because heads in books all day is wonderful. but practicality is nice too. Like the fact you're actually learning a business from all different angles is really, really cool. So there's stuff we didn't have when we were going to school.
Yep.
Like this was, I mean, this was not,
no,
I mean,
it's not a thing.
There wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, wow.
I think generationally, right? Like
totally
3 projects you talked about, like it makes the earth a better place, right? All 3 of them.
Seriously.
So generationally, it's amazing.
And not stuff that we were thinking about, Phil, when we were going to university.
No, I don't want to talk about what I was thinking about. It makes me a horrible person. So
I can't remember.
But I want to talk about this because I just found the Path to Champion for 2022, and it's freaking intense. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, I'm looking at the opening rounds, and like, Kenny, the opening rounds are crazy. It's like you guys had, because you guys were with Azerbaijan, Guatemala, Kenya as your first round. You guys, Azerbaijan and Canada moves on. So then in the top 16, it's the 2 of you plus Germany and Ireland. Right. And then Tunisia, United Kingdom, Egypt, and Canada make final 4. It's craziness. Wow. Like, it's like,
we didn't get that far, but we were technically within we were technically the best college in the world. That's how I like to say it. But we were within the top 4 out of those over.
Yeah, you were final 4. Like, what?
That's huge. Your top 10 is huge.
Yeah.
The fact you actually did something is huge. I mean, you're actually doing something that makes a difference. It matters.
And it was,
for listeners, we'll put this link in the.
Absolutely.
I think the path is cool. Like, if you get a sense of how many countries, it's 8 sets of 4, right? So there's 32 countries competing. Like, that's insane.
So we can talk more about this too. You can talk more about the project, because I love the project. I love where it's going.
Yeah, you kind of need to bring us in.
Like, what other people do? Like, what else is going on in this thing?
Yeah.
Like, this program sounds like something everybody in business would be lining up to do. Like, I wish we had this shit when we were going to school.
So they're like
seriously,
okay,
man.
Shut up now. You said that 45 minutes was ours.
Whatever. It's our podcast. What are they going to
do? We can talk forever too. Mandy knows I can talk forever. But no, the World Cup experience, like, it's actually nice talking about it, because in the moment you get so caught up and you're so ready and like you're so focused on presenting. Afterwards, it's like oh, we just did that. Like, we presented in front of, in the final round, there's probably over 2,000 people in the audience. We were presenting in front of probably 100 to 150 judges. And those are top CEOs of companies globally at that point, who are sitting in the front row, and we're on that big stage, like staring them in the eyes, like, you got this. Okay. Like, win them over with your personality too. And yeah, like, competing against the other teams, getting to meet the other teams and seeing what they were up to. Like I said, it just puts into perspective like how amazing this program is globally, and how these students have similar values to us. Like, we're meeting students from around the world who are passionate about the things we're passionate about.
And so cool to see, like, we know that in the Okanagan Valley, we have a lot of food waste. It was so cool to see different countries, the issues that they're combating in their own countries. That's been like a huge eye-opening experience with all.
So like what though? Because I'm curious too now, because we're one world, one planet, so it all plays together. What were other people doing?
Well, for example, Egypt had a really unique project regarding an invasive species in the river. They've been taking is it crayfish?
Yes, I think so.
Crayfish,
little lobsters.
Yeah, and they're incredibly invasive. They were converting their shells into medical.
Oh wow.
Flies.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, instead of just a massive kill off and to do nothing, I mean, wow. Okay.
And then like Brazil was a newer team. They presented on multiple different projects too. It's hard because I will say when you're in a competition mode, it's almost like you're trying to block out what
you have to. Your blinders are on, right?
Yeah.
You're focusing on what you're doing. But we were on the plane to Puerto Rico with them. So I actually was sitting next to an Enactus student from Italy, and we were talking about our projects, and they were working with shea butter and importing it from, I believe it was Guatemala. and being able to sell it within their own country, because there was barriers to selling it, and just they were turning it into things, selling it off to other businesses who use shea butter in their product.
Wow.
They were a smaller, like newer team from Milan too, and that was what they were presenting on, which was so cool. And I mean,
Slightly stressful, probably, right? You're going, what the I'm picking up apples.
Yeah, like,
I'm not.
oh, no.
What the heck? Like, yeah.
But I think it's good too, because for us to make final round, like this is obviously, it is a prevalent issue that we are facing, like the amount of
100%.
food waste and food insecurity, and that was recognized on a global scale too. And I will say, like, we worked incredibly hard, and I know all the other teams did too, to prepare for this, so we were ready. The Q&A that we face is ruthless. It is terrifying, and Mandy is our number girls too, so as soon as a number is said, all of us just turn and look at her on stage.
She's not
Yeah,
scared.
at one
She
point
has
they
4
said,
kids.
we-
Do you know? Like, there's nothing that can scare you. You got 4 kids. Like,
You're not
whatever.
nothing's gonna scare
Whatever.
her.
Come on, bring it on. Like, what do you got? Like,
Yeah, as long as
sorry
I
I
know
cut
my
you off.
numbers, I can answer the question. I'm not so good with like filling all the words in. I just need the numbers.
So I fill the words in. She's got the numbers.
Listen, that's what team play is.
Yeah, but no, the questions we get, they're realistic business questions. So, you know, we do prepare for those. That takes some practice as well. The faculty will sit there for hours and just ask us questions. So we're prepared different ways that it can be asked. We know the answers because
Right.
we've built the project, and all the presenters on stage, like our entire team has been involved with Unusually Good in one way or another.
Right.
So we all kind of know what's happening, but that's another component that is fun, in addition to the 12-minute presentation that we memorized and presented on in front of all of those people.
Right.
So I think you can find it on YouTube. I can send you the link if you want to
Send us the link and we'll share it as well.
because it's neat to look back on and actually watch too, and then in the moment you kind of you black out, like you're staring at a crowd and you just have no idea what you're saying, because it's just so like you
Right.
just know what to say, so it just kind of happens at that point.
Yeah.
And then after we were done presenting, I remember we walked off the stage and I was handed a phone for a radio interview right away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was on the phone. Everyone else was celebrating. They're like, what is McKenna doing right now? And I'm like on the phone with the news outlet from back in Kelowna, like talking about the experience. Like we're on an adrenaline high at that rate.
I guess.
That's amazing.
Wow.
What an amazing experience.
Like seriously, what a just a cool thing.
Small team from Okanagan College. Who would have thought, right?
Oh, come on. The interior, we crank out great kids in the interior. I was born and raised in Trail. We crank out great kids out of the interior. Way better than you do in the Lower Mainland. Seriously, come on.
But no,
He's not competitive at all. Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
no. I show no pride. I show no pride in being from the Kootenays. No. Interesting.
So
where does the project go now? Sorry, Phil.
Yeah. No,
Like,
no,
what
I was going to
happens
ask
now?
literally the same thing.
So like,
Yeah.
does this continue on, like, has this now become like, I guess, a business outside of the school? Being nonprofit, I don't really care what structure it is, but this doesn't end, right?
It won't be ending. I will be graduating. Mandy will be taking it over again next year and working with the partners that we're currently working with. We have some expansion plans that we are working on right now.
Right.
And we're starting to execute, which is pretty exciting. So it will be sticking around under the Enactus umbrella at Okanagan College for sure for next year. And then exit strategies for projects, it really depends. Sometimes we'll have alumni that take them over in the future. Sometimes businesses will come in and they want to kind of run with it afterward. So it really depends, but we have another year to figure that one out.
Is that something you two are interested in potentially, or is that?
Potentially, yeah. There were some conversations around it. I think, well, for me, this is like my baby, is Unusually Good, and like Enactus and all of our members. Like these are my children, so like you become so passionate about it. You don't want to let it go, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm like almost scared to graduate, because it's like I've put so much energy and like, you know, this has consumed us and we've loved it for so long, and I'm just supposed to graduate.
So when you acquire the brand and become the co-founder, just come back on the show and we'll interview you again.
I think that's
It'll
sort
be
of where
all
I was
good.
going with it too. Like, because I know if you're worried about what you're going to do or whatever, I'm thinking, well, but there's a viable, I mean, it appears to be a viable business. Now, how long you can have volunteers Or do you have to scale that and sell a lot more juice so you can actually pay people and still remain a nonprofit? Again, I don't really care how you run it, but it does sound like a viable. Food waste isn't going away.
Yes.
And and we know the Okanagan is loaded, the whole area is loaded with product that's sitting on the ground. We know that. Why not put it to use? And what great use. Well, it's incredible.
Exactly. And we've been playing around with it too. We have some different ideas just to see like the potential of, with our margins, what we can do, what we want to do. But right now, for sure, it's our mission is the apple chips. Like we don't want to profit off of it. What we have is working right now so we can reach our goal to donate 1 million apple chips. And with our partnerships coming in, it's becoming more clear and more realistic.
Awesome.
We're working with other Enactus teams across Canada now too, who are bringing kind of like their own versions of Unusually Good within their schools. We just talked, we met with the team we were working with from Loyalist yesterday, and they had a huge barrier. They couldn't find a dehydrator to use. And so they really wanted to bring this project within their community because they had a lot of apples locally too going to waste. So they instead innovated their ideas and what are they doing, Mandy? You know the problem.
Okay, that's not the worst way to do it either. I know they do that in there's a facility in Langley that does that as well.
Avi and Binny.
Interesting. Yeah.
We were laughing with them in the beginning about them having a dehydrator kicking around.
Right.
We've had
that, Kenny?
Conversations with them.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember that. Because we had a good laugh over it because we were talking about trial and error, and he was talking about how his parents kind of just jump in and his dad does things.
Well, his dad's like all over the place, man.
So he said all of a sudden we had a dehydrator. So if anybody wants a dehydrator,
Of course. Well, we did consider that. Peter did kind of make us aware of the dehydrator, and when I was talking to them on the phone, they brought it up. Of course, that is something that if we were to look into, we'd have to get our CFIA regulations. Everyone would have to have food safety. So there's other things that we'd have to do. So in the future with expansion, like definitely could make sense. Right now with the Gleaners, our partnership's been working and we get to go and volunteer with them. So they've been able to meet our production needs right now.
It's a whole different complexity, right? Like you get equipment. Now, there's like all the complexity on certifications and everything, but like on the math side, right? The accounting stuff is like, all of a sudden you get into questions that owners really never anticipated trying to figure out. Like, do I lease the equipment? Do I buy it? Like, how does that screw up my cash flow? Where does it go? Like if I buy it now,
or do I go down to Peach
a year from now? It's too small, too big. Like all of these things, right? So
where to put it? Property is not cheap in the Okanagan either. So how far do you go? Do you go toward Armstrong? Do you go all the way up?
They're at the college. They're just school.
I don't know if the college would let us drop a dehydrator in the
just take a few parking stalls in the back. People should be biking to the school anyway. They don't need
something.
The
it'll be fine.
That's it. Just put some white tents up.
The dean probably has like a house on campus at the
dean's
back
probably got
somewhere.
4 parking spots.
So whatever, like the garage at the dean's house. It's all good. Like
it's funny that you guys mentioned the parking lot because our last year of producing juice, we had some supply chain issues, so we couldn't get our boxes. We actually had our juice stored in one of those big steel boxes in the college parking lot.
Exactly. There's lots of room.
No biggie.
We've had to be innovative. Well, I think remember like all of the challenges that other businesses were facing, like supply chain issues, and we were facing those too. So I think the critical thinking and the strategy that we've had to do over the last few years, even with thinking about, okay, is it feasible for us to get a dehydrator right now? And all of those questions we have to ask ourselves, like that already is pretty impressive. And, asking the right questions. Definitely did not think I was going to be, talking about dehydrators and whether or not it's feasible at the age of 22, but it's been fun.
That's why, like, in terms of worrying about what you're going to do, you've got so much potential because you've learned so much
but you also like you're equipped in a way that most people are not, like regardless of age, right? Is what we hear is a really common thing on here when you talk to brands is people who are new brand owners or whatever, they realize like they didn't know anything about manufacturing, period. Right. And so all the things you guys have been through, most entrepreneurs out there are they're doing it on the fly, right?
You know, when they figure it out, they figure it out when they're
right?
100 grand into it of
Yeah,
their own
yeah,
money.
it's frightening.
And then they
right?
figured all the mistakes are thinking, okay, guys, you might want to.
So at least now you get a chance to go,
absolutely.
no, all these retail people are crazy. I am not going in this industry.
Right.
Because it is a running joke. We do laugh about that is there are, you got to be kind of crazy to be in this biz, right? Like everybody, from what you guys have been doing all the way through the distributors, and then the folks at Loblaws that you've been dealing with. If you're a buyer, like Kenny was a buyer for a very long time, I was a buyer for a short time, you got to be a little crazy, right? Because you look at everything, we look at everything different, right? Like, so at least you've got a taste now, so you'll know, not, this craziness is not for me.
Or you play a different angle of it. Like the fact the juice is awesome in that.
Yeah.
If the juice is in 3 liter, like a US gallon or a 5 liter or whatever it's in, food service is potential. So you can avoid retail altogether, and you sell to, whether it's restaurants or commercial facilities. It doesn't even have to be in 5 liter. You can sell it in 500 liter drums. It really doesn't matter at that point. It's however you want to move products. Candle makers that, you've got a small one, you could send pulp all day to other candle makers. Like, there's ways to do things, I guess. So Mandy, let me ask you one quick thing, because I didn't know, prior to being a full-time mom, and I'm assuming that's what you were, that's my guess, or going back to school, what were you doing prior to?
So prior to being in school,
because this one here's just a student, we got that one. She's younger than my kid, so I got her figured out, sort of. Highly competitive, we figured that too.
Yeah, highly competitive, just a little bit. I'm an esthetician. I went to school to become an esthetician right outside of high school.
Right.
I'd done that on and off for years, and decided I wanted to do something that wasn't so tourism based. Once COVID hit, it kind of was an eye opener for me of, this isn't a feasible source of income for my entire family year round. It's very highs in the winter. I work on a mountain, a ski resort, so it's busy in the winter, dead in the fall, busy in the summer, dead in the spring. So it's kind of a lot of waves. So that was kind of one of the things that triggered my thoughts into going back to school. And then when I did decide to go to school, I thought, I have 4 kids. I'm just going to keep my head down, do my school, get my degree, and get out of there. And then one of my professors approached me after class one day and said, hey, we have this opening for VP of Finance in this group called Enactus. Why don't you come check out their showcase for the competition the prior year and see what you think of it? And then I've just been all in for Enactus ever since.
That's how they get you. The faculty trap you.
Do you get any sleep? Like, do you actually find time to just rest?
I need to sleep. Yeah, I'm a big sleeper.
I mean, kids, like one kid is enough. I mean, I only had 2, he had 3. 4 is a lot of, that's just a lot.
Yeah, they're very supportive, and it's been really amazing to see them watch me do school and to see the rewards of my hard work.
It's phenomenal.
And to watch me on the stage for doing the competitions, and they've been my biggest,
the cheerleaders.
Supporters. Yeah, my cheerleaders.
Do they ask to see your grades?
No, they do ask how I do on my tests, but
my kids are so my kids are older now, but I had gone back to do a little bit of online work, and my kids were like asking to see grades, and like I put a lot of pressure, right? Because I was like, wait, no, like do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
Crap, right? Like, and all of a sudden it was like, no, I got to get an A now, right? Because this is what I ride them for. So oh my God, like it's too much pressure. So that's amazing.
Our kids are fantastic. Like we have Enactus shirts for them actually.
Oh,
they are part of the team, and they were showcased in the World Cup presentation as well.
That's fantastic.
No way.
That's very cool.
What did they like, being celebrities? Is that what they told you, Mandy?
Yeah, world famous.
World famous.
What the heck, right? Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Wow.
We've really enjoyed having you guys. This has been amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool, guys. Like really impressive. Like seriously.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the
Yeah.
time to come out and talk to us. We
Well,
really
thanks for
appreciate it.
having us. I mean, this is again a neat opportunity. I think I told Peter at one point, I've always wanted to be on a podcast, and
there
then
you go.
that's how Craig was brought into it. And
Tell Pete we want him on the podcast. I'd love to have Peter on the podcast because he's a retailer.
Yeah.
We'd
Yeah.
love
Bring
to
him
have a
on.
retailer.
Every
Yeah.
time he like talks, I swear it's just like full of inspiration too.
Yeah.
So I love going shopping in a store just to go and
Yeah.
see him.
He's been around for a long time. He knows the industry, right? He's that guy. And congrats to the university too for doing
Yeah.
a program like this.
Yeah.
Like seriously, there's a lot of call outs. I mean, it's
a
pretty
big
cool.
deal.
And thanks, Craig,
Yeah.
for the introduction. We'll give Craig.
So the two of you, as you guys move forward, we mean this, we really mean this, is if you decide to jump into this industry or you want help with other industries, like make sure you stay in contact with us. Like you have our emails now and everything like that. Like, because we love it. We've
been doing this over 40 years. I've been over 40 years in this
Yeah.
mess. So
yeah.
I
We
mean,
we've got a lot of listeners that listen to the show, so they're going to be checking out, right, listeners? You're going to be checking out your LinkedIn.
absolutely.
But as things develop, or if things develop with with a company, if you want to come back on, let us know. We'd love to have you.
Or if you want someone just to rebound something off, just ping us.
Yeah. For
Thank
sure.
you both so
For sure.
much.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. And if you happen to be in Montreal May 1st, we'll have nationals then. So
No way.
if
Really?
you want to join, send me an email, and I can send you the registration links to come and
Yes,
I love
please.
Montreal.
Montreal.
He's
Look at-
in Mississauga. He's not.
I'm
that
in
far.
Mississauga, so I'm in Toronto. So
Yeah.
and my son goes to U Ottawa. So
Okay.
really no big
our
deal for me.
competition.
I know. Oh no! So you know what I'm gonna do after this? I'm gonna
Come on, why aren't you in this
I'm gonna
program?
WhatsApp him and go. I just heard you guys got your asses kicked. That's what I heard. What is going on? He'll be like, so it'd be great.
No comment.
Awesome.
That's amazing. We appreciate it so much, and I think that's what's amazing is the support we've received as well. And just it's incredible, and it's so gratifying to see the work that we've done be appreciated. So thank you so much.
It's important work, you guys. It's good.
Yeah.
Someone's got to change this planet. It's going to come from
It's not us.
generation. Light it up.
Well,
Well, we can
1
just
million
support the
happens.
ideas now.
Not us. We
support
screwed
the
it up.
ideas.
So yeah, we'll support for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, you guys.
Enjoy
You
the
too.
rest of the day, guys. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank
Okay,
you for
bye.
having us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Phil, you stick around.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much brighter.
I wish we had
They're
programs.
they're
like that.
smarter at 22 than I am now, I think.
I seriously, they get things. I wish we had
Yeah.
things like this,
Buddy,
Right?
but at 22,
Oh.
were you equipped to do
but I don't remember.
would you be importing shea butter from Guatemala to Italy at 22?
No. See, 22
I was-
wouldn't be much different than 57. I'd be
I
looking
was
at how to
busy
get
importing
cards,
burgers
watches,
from
coins,
the
you know.
burger joint to my stomach. That was the
No,
only thing I
all
was
I'd be
doing.
just is
like-
how to trade things or how to buy and sell stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I would have
yeah,
never made it
yeah.
so
I know.
formalized. And,
No,
geez,
so-
there's apples
such a
on the
big deal.
ground. We should make
Yeah.
chips to feed the world. And I'd not. That wouldn't be me. I love it. Like I love it. I love what they're doing. I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
I hope it has longer legs outside of the program.
Yeah.
And I'm dying to see what next year's ideas are.
Yeah.
Like we could have them on every year. The group.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
find it fascinating. Or if there's branches in the Lower Mainland, if someone's listening, I think this program is phenomenal.
Well, I'm gonna talk to the Centennial College guys now. I teach
Seriously?
there, right? So
Why
they have an
not?
Enactus as well. So I'm curious what they're working on.
What are they working on?
Yeah.
Fascinating
And then
stuff.
and then
right?
May 1st is the championship. So
Yeah.
interesting. I might pop up there and just have a look and see what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
very, very cool. Like that
Very
was
interesting.
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
It's funny too, because Kenny and I didn't know what to expect out of this call, right? Because we kind of we
I
said
didn't know- I
yes, and
didn't know.
like if you're wondering what our decision process is for bringing people on is, we tend to shy away from people that have things to clearly sell, right? So service
Right.
providers we vet them
It's not.
pretty
I don't want to.
hard.
We don't want to pitch. No pitchy.
Yeah, so we vet them pretty hard, but brands we love, retailers we love, and then this one is retail related and weird. and it probably took us 30 seconds to go, yeah, we'll talk to them, but we didn't actually know, right? So I think the scramble 10 minutes before this podcast was the two of us going, wait, who is this and what are they
this
doing?
Came from
right?
Craig, right? Craig's reached out and said, you really should have these people on. And he gave me a high level, but I probably wasn't even listening. Thinking, well, because if your friends, if they're saying to try people, they know your podcast, you think, yeah, okay, they understand what fits. So we just went with it. But wow, that was really cool. That was really cool. Wow, I really enjoyed
that was cool. That was cool.
That.
Awesome.
Anyway,
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.